So welcome to the Dispatch podcast. We're really excited to have you here from Oklahoma City. We have Owen today. Owen, welcome to the
Thank you.
podcast.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to do this. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks a lot. Appreciate you taking some time
absolutely.
away from your inspection to come up and join us here. Can you tell me a little bit about, have you been to Pierce before? First
This
time?
is actually my fourth time here. I've done some inspections on ladders, a couple of engines here and there, and then the pre-build obviously for these ones. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's
So
always
you're pretty
good.
familiar with.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to get more and more familiar with it in the process. So yes, for sure.
So that's awesome. Well, can you tell me a little bit about Oklahoma City? Give the listeners a little background on your community
Yeah.
and who you serve.
Yeah, so Oklahoma City's very unique. I mean, a lot of cities are, but Oklahoma City, our coverage area is actually 621 square miles. It's in the top 10 in the United States for land mass. We're just over 700,000 people. We have 38 fire stations. Each one of those has an ALS engine apparatus at all of them. Some of them have ladders, some have battalion chiefs. It just depends. So, yeah, very diverse kind of terrain. We have everything from, metropolis downtown, high rises to wildland areas and a lot of wildland urban interface. So that's kind of our bread and butter, really. And the growth of the city is moving very fast.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate the background. And you guys are here picking up 7 enforcers.
7 enforcers. Yeah.
Enforcer pumpers. Okay. So what led to that decision? How'd you go about speccing these? How'd you decide on the enforcer?
Well, now, after all of these arrive, I think all of our frontline equipment is going to be either an enforcer or a saber apparatus. Obviously, some of those were the stock trucks, but yeah, we've designed these, and these have just kind of followed that design. These have a little bit of a couple of different things, but nothing extremely different. So yeah, these 7 will just kind of fall in line with the spec that we've had. Now we just kind of built off of it, and honestly, I think these are the best ones we've ever done.
Well, that's great. And it's such a challenge because of how long these are in
Yes.
service. Like going and making sure that when you're doing that each time you're satisfied with what that is, because they're going to be in.
Absolutely.
Like, well, how long do you run them front line?
Well, so that's part of the problem with us is we have stations that are running a lot. So trying to plan and be ready with lead times and the difficult stuff that we have to deal with, that makes this decision even harder. But yeah, we used to have like a standard, let's say 10-year replacement plan. But now our fire logistics superintendent has a very robust, like data-driven plan for replacement. It's all based off of, mileage, hours on the engine, total lifetime maintenance cost. So it kind of makes his job, he's obviously developed this, but makes his job a lot easier when it comes to say like who needs a new rig right now, and sometimes they were one of the last new rigs. It's just the way it works out.
Well, that's interesting using data to make those decisions. And it's a unique question. You can imagine when someone comes and says, hey, how long does an apparatus life cycle? What is that for? And I always tell people, I'm like, it depends so much. How frequently is it running? Like you mentioned, hours on the engine, hours on the pump are important. Where is this in a community? So back to your community specifically in Oklahoma City, what kind of features are on these enforcers that are specific to the
Yeah.
needs that of Oklahoma City?
Well, so all of these 7 are going to be pretty much in an urban area. For our WUI apparatus, we usually do the PUC. So we have, I can't remember, 7 or 8 PUC apparatus that are kind of our outlining station go-to rigs, just because of their capabilities are a little bit more wildland focused, at least for us. These 7 are going to be in the urban areas. So there's basically spec'd out with typical, we will have hydrants in these locations. We will, have other apparatus showing up. So these were spec'd with that in mind.
So you mentioned a WUI. So can you tell me about what a WUI is for our listeners? And then also, I know that some of that's regionalized
Yeah.
terminology.
Yeah.
But then also, like, why is that important?
Yeah, absolutely. So WUI stands for Wildland Urban Interface. And the idea behind that is neighborhoods and people moving further out away from the centralized like metropolis area. And that creates its like unique problems where we have that interface between a wildland area, so like heavy trees, maybe for us like grasslands, but then you might have a brand new neighborhood right in the middle of that. And some of them are developed with fire hydrants in mind, and some of them aren't. And we have some areas in the city that have very large homes, very large neighborhoods, sitting on maybe acre-sized lots that a fire hydrant is not nearby. So, yeah.
Wow, that's really
Mhm.
interesting. That's
Yeah, so for us, I mean, that's a very unique. I mean, I think a lot of places are running into that. Obviously, if they're in a growing area, and Oklahoma City, like I said, is rapidly growing. I think one of the last uh, kind of estimates for maybe 2035 is that we would have over 1 million people, and we're just over 700,000 right now. So who knows? But I mean, it's very rapidly growing.
so how do you make the difficult decision of where these 7 apparatus are going?
So it's going to be back to that, data driven. In 2025, everything has to be data, especially for us. So the kind of crazy thing is we went from, early in my career where nothing was data to now pretty much everything is data. So they're just looking at the response areas, the amount of rides that they're making, obviously. So yeah, that's going to be the biggest thing is who needs it now based on, basically the state of their current apparatus.
So, oh, and you mentioned that these are the best ones that you guys have ever spec'd. Can you
Yes.
tell me about what's different on this spec or this configuration compared to some of your previous ones?
Yeah, absolutely. So visually, not sure if, obviously some of the listeners aren't going to know what they look like before. But this one, we have always done a white top on our cab. And when we were here doing our pre-build, that was something that came up is, all of us, every time we come here, you get to see everybody's stuff. And that is helpful and also a detriment when you're trying to make a decision on stuff. So this was the time we thought, let's make a change, and we brought it to our city as well. So before we made the the change here, we actually put it out in a survey form for the department and said, which one of these do you like? So we had, a kind of a drawing of all red. And then we had a drawing like our classic one with the white top. And they both look great. I mean, the thing is that they've never not looked good, but we kinda just, wanted a little bit of a change. So we went all red. The city spoke, all the firefighters got to vote and choose which one they believe that they liked the best. So we did that. Some other things that changed the look of the apparatus. I don't know the actual term, but we rescue bodied the side of the bed area and added some extra storage up there. But then we were also, that gave us a spot to put more graphics. So we've got some gold leaf graphics up there that say Oklahoma City, and then below is our part of our mission statement. It says meet the need. And that's kind of what we base everything we do in Oklahoma City Fire Department. So if you can always go back to that statement alone, you're going to probably make the right decision. So that's the thing. It's like, we're going to meet the need by any means necessary, whatever that means, we're going to do it. So that kind of changed up. We went with like a classic Maltese cross design on the door, which everybody that I've sent it to since they love it. I mean, and it looks really good. It's a little bit modernized version of what our really old logo was, but it looks great. Kind of has that classic look. So we really like that. These also have a completely different lighting package that includes the ability for them to dim on scene. They can sync together. And we've had that on our mid-mount rescue ladders that we've ordered from you guys. And obviously that's been a huge benefit, and we really like that. So these incorporated that. And then we also went to a 750-gallon tank on these 7. We have a couple of tactics that we can use in the city of Oklahoma City, where that 750 gallons is going to just give us a little bit longer time to make a decision on the tactic that we're going to use for fire attack. So that's why we went with that, just to give us a little bit more capability, and it just, free up a little bit more time to hopefully save lives and property. So
Yeah, that's neat to hear because we get to meet with a lot of different customers that may be designing a truck once every 20 years or whatever
yes,
the case is. And where you have the ability to just refine that over and over and over again and make small changes to continually be putting a better
absolutely.
apparatus or better solution into your community is really neat. So tell me a little bit about the other end of that. So one, you're adding these new features, but how do
Yes.
you still maintain a consistent fleet then?
Okay, so for us in the city, so as far as like the general gist of these trucks, they're the same. At least, compartment size wise, we've done some stuff in the interior, and we've added more compartmentation because we've learned over even just the last few years, like how much more stuff we have to carry. We've now added bulletproof vests to our fleet. So it's just like stuff like that's just bulkier, and we really didn't have a great place to put them. So now that we have those boxes up top, that's going to be a great place to put stuff like that. But as far as them being the same, we have very strict standardization across our department. So all of our frontline metropolitan engines are going to have the exact same setup at every single station. So the hose loads, where the tools are kept, where the EMS compartment is kept, all of this stuff is in the same place because, well, unfortunately, as a big city, our personnel have to kind of move around. So we do what's called loaning, and that gives us the opportunity that person can go to another station and there's no difference in the apparatus. So they could come in that morning before 7 a.m., fire alarm could drop and they're ready because they already know what all of these apparatus look like. So that's obviously a huge benefit for us too. So standardization makes us way more efficient, way more professional, and it helps with our aggressive fire tactics.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about storage and what you're storing on these in terms of hose load and how that's the same
Yes.
across the fleet. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you're storing on every apparatus?
Yeah, so for these, they're pretty straightforward as far as they're going to be a city-based engine. So they do have, I mean, all of our engines are going to still have capability to help in that WUI space, that wildland urban interface. So we carry some wildland hose for that to kind of just be able to work together because, they may be the next closest company could be more of a city apparatus to that outlying city. But they carry a nice complement of hand tools, hose lines, nozzles, and it also carries a lot of our EMS equipment. So in the city of Oklahoma City, we're all advanced life support city. So that means we have to have at least one paramedic on each engine in the entire city 24/7. So we also carry a lot of medical equipment to match what our transport agency does. So we have every kind of medication you can think of. We have the cardiac monitor, and then pretty much everything that the ambulance can do besides put them in an apparatus and take them to the hospital, we can do on scene. So that's kind of their main focus. Yeah.
All right. So you've said you've been here 4 different times. To someone who's never been either to Pierce before, gone through an apparatus procurement process,
Yeah.
what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, so one of the really cool things that Oklahoma City does, and I'm sure a lot of other departments do this as well, but we put a lot of emphasis on our peer firefighters to make some of these decisions. So that's why I'm here, actually. I'm a co-chair of our apparatus committee, is what we call it. We meet monthly. And a lot of these things, we don't have to talk about it engine specifically as much because we've kind of built this spec and we can just kind of continue, like we've said, kind of make it a little bit better as we go. But we fall back to that committee for most of our decision making when it comes to apparatus purchasing and what exactly we want. So we have a very vast array of people on the committee from our corporal rank all the way up to our chief rank, and everybody has a voice. That lowest guy to the highest guy has his own opinion and can offer that up. And if it's a good thing, we should probably do it. So that's one thing that we fall back on really heavily, is that peer review of what we need. And we listen, we try to get as much feedback as we can from the field if we can. There's only so much we can do in a committee, but we
Yeah.
have probably 15 or 20 guys on that. So it's pretty good.
Well, that's neat when you talked about that mission of meet the need. I'm gonna steal that. That's so cool. And I think of like the element of making sure that each of those firefighters has a voice in what they're doing and how they're serving. That's how you get the buy-in culturally into the department.
Yeah, and our fire chief is, I mean, he feels very strongly about keeping that as intact as possible. So he does not want to come in there and tell us what we need. That's not, he says it a lot. He's like, he's far removed now from things that are happening in the field and does not want to limit us by thinking he has all the ideas. So we feel it in the committee. It's not just a grandstanding of things. He's committed to us making decisions and getting what we need, and they always support us too. And we've brought some very difficult things up in recent years and just tried to decide what we're going to do. And we've always had the support.
On behalf of the 3,000 employees at Pierce, the fact that you guys center around meeting the need and that we're lucky enough to get to serve you and get to build your trucks, like that means a ton to all of us here. And we're committed to earning that opportunity
Yeah.
moving forward. But thank you so much, like for taking the time to
Absolutely.
teach us a little bit about Oklahoma
Yeah.
City, about offering some advice maybe to some other folks that are in the procurement area, and ultimately just sitting down and having a discussion. It means a
Absolutely.
lot to me personally, Owen. So thanks a ton.
Oh, it's been great. I mean, just as far as Pierce is concerned, we talk about it all the time. It feels you guys make this experience a lot better. I don't have much experience at other places, but it feels like a small business when you come here. When you speak to the people that are here, everybody feels like family. You know, they treat us well. They remember your names. They always just, make time. Bob, the president of the company, was over at the Blue Fort yesterday just to have a quick word, and it actually means something to us when somebody is willing to do that, take time out of their day, because we obviously know he's very busy. So
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, we talk about it with our dealers like Conrad and those things too. Is
yeah,
people don't buy fire trucks from companies; they buy them from people.
yeah, it's a fact.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
one of those things that we get to serve some really incredible people and some really incredible communities. And I'll tell you, we're really proud when we get to see an Oklahoma City unit leave our facility and see an order come in from Oklahoma City,
yes,
and
sir.
it makes us feel like we're part of there. And we have team members that when they travel, they're taking photos of every firehouse. Their spouses are going, "You're nuts,"
Yeah,
but we are a little bit nuts about firefighters
yep,
here.
we appreciate it very
Yeah.
much. It's good
That's
for
awesome.
sure.
Well, thanks for jumping on.
Absolutely.
I hope you guys have a great rest of your visit here and a safe trip home.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.